Hi everyone, welcome to another Skyrim mod showcase where we're going to take a look at follower as companion. And what the mod essentially does is exactly what you're seeing on screen now. It allows your follower to be in a more companion type position around your character. They're not a lapdog following way behind, they're a companion, you're having a conversation on a journey and they're keeping pace with you. There is also a toggle function that comes with this mod which allows you to have your follower at your side or again in the default vanilla position following behind. There are other options in the MCM menu that comes with the mod as well, and we'll take a look at those now in game. So before you start using the mod in game, you will need to set it up via the MCM menu. So come into there and go into the options, and here in the top left section we can start setting some hotkeys for the mod. So the first hotkey is to toggle the status. Now this determines whether the follower is going to be beside the character or behind it. So it's a very useful hotkey to have in a nice easy location where you can easily select it. The next hotkey toggles sandboxing. So this means it will toggle whether the follower, while idle, either does sandboxing such as starts using the cooking pots or sitting on chairs, or whether it just waits there idly in the corner while doing nothing. This may also be affected by other mods such as AFT, and I tend to find that AFT overrides the sandboxing from this mod and uses its own packages. The next hotkey is quite useful for fixing any bugs that might arise with the mod, and it is used for debug purposes only, and basically what it does is it updates the AI packages that are involved with your follower and just hopes to minimize any bug issues that happen with it. Obviously only press this hotkey if you are experiencing bugs, as it may have other effects if not. The next option here allows you to display notifications in the top left corner, and these basically tell you whether your follower should be now following behind you or beside you as you toggle the status. The next option for no NPC pushing is that issue that sometimes happens when you're talking to another NPC and your follower will just come and give you a nudge and push you out of the way of that conversation. It's a little bit annoying and a little bit immersive breaking, and by ticking this option you are hopefully minimizing that issue. It is experimental and may not work 100% of the time, but it should minimize that issue. And at the bottom here we have an option to safely remove the mod for uninstalling, because it is a scripted mod and it can damage your game if you just suddenly delete it from your load order. It is best to tick this option and uninstall it in the usual safe fashion. And on the right hand side here we have a couple of options for positioning the follower in relation to your character. So these four here for up and down, X, Y and Z are very experimental and should be used at your own risk. I do suggest playing with these, but I would save the game first before messing about with them. And it just turns the follower in relation to your character. Now these two up here do work quite nicely, and it's for left and right offset and front and back. So the front and back one determines whether the follower is going to be either more to the front of the character or more to the back. So if you increase this value, you will find that follower tends to be more towards the front of your character rather than the back. And with the left and right, if you increase this to 100, the NPC probably will be on the left of you, but I would mess around with this value a little bit, as it can just not work exactly how you think it will work, and it does take a little bit of tweaking to get the follower either on the left or the right hand side of your character. I've also found that sometimes the follower will either just determine on its own whether it wants to follow you on the left hand side or the right hand side. Okay, so let's jump back in game, and when we do that we'll see at the top left we get follower reevaluating AI package stack, and that just sets up the mod nicely. Now it's also suggested here that you either wait for an hour or go through a loading door just to make sure the scripts are all up to date and working properly. Now I've already done that, so hopefully when I start walking here, my follower, there we go, should start walking beside me. Now you can see this is more like a companion relationship here. My follower is looking at me, we're walking at the same pace, and he's just slightly behind me, so I'm still determining where exactly we are going. We're having a nice little conversation here, and it's a little bit more immersive than him just being a lapdog following quite a little distance behind. Now if I pick up the pace, you'll see the follower also picks up the pace and does keep a nice even level with me, and we can still have a conversation here. We're still companions. He's not a follower, he's my friend, and we're on a little journey together. So it's pretty cool, pretty immersive. And if I press the toggle key now, you see that he drops off and we get a message up the top left saying he's following behind. Now if I press it again, he should catch up and start walking beside me. Now he may be affected by these other NPCs that we've just run past, so I'll just give him a little chance to catch up here. I might stop actually, and he should have caught up. Here he comes, He was affected by those NPCs, and we should, as we start walking again. Might have to catch up just a little second. These are some of the issues that happen with the mod. There we go. Just give your follower a little chance to catch up with you and start walking beside. And you can see it does work. It can be a little temperamental. It's not as fast as you may like, but it does work and it's very effective. Let's press the button again. He's dropped off behind. If I press it again for him to walk beside, should, there we go, start walking beside you. And as you can see, that is a very nice way of controlling where your followers are, treating them more like companions rather than followers, and just builds a nice relationship up between you and the people that you select to follow. Now, I've not tried this with any more than one follower. I would imagine it's very buggy with more than one and might not even work with more than one follower. And like I said before, I mentioned AFT. I am using AFT, and this is actually a follower that I picked up with AFT. It's just a normal guard, and I did use the AFT controls to make them a follower. So you can see it is slightly compatible with AFT. It can be a little buggy, like I said, with the AI packages in terms of sandboxing, but overall it does work quite nicely. Now, it's probably going to bug on me here if I start walking off. Is he going to walk beside or behind? He's just going to stand there idly and watch the nice waterfall. Here we go. So again, you do have to give your follower a little bit of time to catch up and for those AI packages to sink in. There we go. He's now walking beside me. Oh, and we're in combat here as well. Another feature for the mod, actually, that I should probably mention, is that when you draw your weapon, they will stand a little bit off you, giving you room to swing your sword. Again, that can be a little bit buggy, and after combat, sometimes you do have to wait for the packages to reset themselves and catch up, there we go, before they start walking beside you again. So, like I said, it's a little bit of a temperamental mod. Fixes will be made hopefully in the future to make it a lot faster and a lot more accessible, but in its current state, it's very usable. And you do have the option to safely uninstall it by ticking that box in the MCM menu. So I definitely recommend you give it a go. Maybe make a solid save somewhere and try it out for a couple of hours, just see how it works for you and how it works with your follower mods. And for some reason, there's a crazy woman now interrupting me here. So we'll just get out of that conversation. There we go. And I'm just going to have a little play again with the controls. There you go. Follower is now behind. And now becomes my companion, hopefully, by coming up beside me. There we go. And again, we're companions again, and we're off questing together rather than him just following along and being a lapdog. So since I mentioned combat, I will show you what I mean now. So I'm walking beside my follower, and if I draw my weapon, they'll stop following for a slight moment, and you can see at the top left, it's giving me a message that the follower is giving me distance to ensue combat actions, which basically means that obviously if he stuck by me, I'd probably hit him with my sword, especially since it's a great big one-handed sword. I'd probably hit my follower if he was still following beside me. So when drawing your weapon, he does drop off a little bit and starts following behind. Now hopefully you will obviously see that he's behind me here. You will just have to wait for the packages to reset themselves and the scripts to catch up, and there we go, he started walking beside me again. And if I draw my weapon, he pulls off to the back and allows me to ensue in combat, and usually will follow me into combat, but obviously there's nothing to attack right at this moment. Let's just put the weapon behind me, and I'm just going to walk for a little bit and see how long it takes for him to key back in and follow beside me. And there we go. Again, you can see here that I said like before, sometimes the follower will determine whether he wants to follow you on the left or the right of your character, and sometimes the options to actually set that don't work fully. Again, it's an experimental mod and changes may be made in the future. So I hope you've liked this look at followers as companions. If you have, obviously do check out the mod authors page and remember to endorse if you use, and be sure to track the mod as well, as changes probably will be made in the future, and some changes may have been made by the time this video has been released. If you do use a follower in game and you'd like them to be more of a companion than a lapdog, then this is definitely a mod you should look at, and it's one I'm going to be looking at for my current Skyrim Let's Play, Dervahl's Tale. And if you haven't checked that out, please do feel free to do that. There will be a link at the end of this video to do so. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.